I would like to say welcome. This is video number 5. And video number 5, we're going to be still discussing business from a Buddhist standpoint of view. And we just finished video 4, laying down some foundational principles. And now we're going to look at some other principles. I think there are 9 of them that we're going to look at, and which a Buddhist business person or Buddhist employer would implement in his company. Okay, you ready? Let's go. Well, another way of talking about Buddhist economic activity is that its goal is to satisfy basic human needs while forsaking other consumer longings. When business leaders apply these principles that we're going to talk about today, they must keep in mind that these goals and characteristics also apply to all stakeholders, especially the employees of the business and the stockholders. Employees are to be situated so that they can live a balanced life. Oh, we really need this a lot in some of our businesses. I'm going to say that again. Employees are to be situated so that they can live a balanced life. A life that allows for gainful work, because they need to work and earn income, but also spiritual development. So they have a means of income gainfully employed, and they have time for spiritual development. And I love the last one. And they have a good family life. What more can you ask? You have a gainful employment, you have spiritual development, and a good family life. Employers must manage in such a way that the work is non-violent to the employees, all stakeholders, and to the general environment. When we say non-violent, we mean that it does not impact any of those major areas of a person's life. It's violence if a person doesn't have time to spend with their family. It's the violence if a person is not able to nurture and grow spiritual, so they have his spiritual development. So, with these foundational principles in mind, we can move forward and say that, get a better understanding. How is it that business is done the Buddhist way? So now we're going to look at some foundational principles. There are 9 of them that we have articulated here. The first one is called employee engagement. Employee engagement. And leaders attempt to establish a culture or employee engagement. Research shows that employee engagement is at the heart of a successful business. Yes. Engaged employees are prepared to go beyond the call of duty, and they actually drive the business. They show up because they want to, not because they have to. Wow, employee engagement, that is rich. Wouldn't it be wonderful to be able to work at a place that you just can't wait to get to work in the morning? That's a great environment to be in. So employee engagement is one of the foundational principles. Principle number 2 is spiritual goals. Buddhism does not negate commercial profit goals, okay? Keep that in mind. The business is there to make a profit, but rather those goals must be considered in the context of spiritual goals as well. So if you're going to make a profit, but it still must be in alignment with spiritual goals. Finances must be considered in the context of meaning. Where does money come from? How is it spent? How does the economic activity promote nonviolence, social responsibility, and stakeholder enlightenment? What is the activity doing to enhance the quality of the larger society? We're talking about spiritual goals now. All of these must be taken into consideration to balance out the purely monetary goals that a firm might have. So Buddhism, they do not neglect having commercial profit goals. Of course, that's why you would be in business. But they said those not at the expense of spiritual goals. Okay, so that's number 2, spiritual goals. First was the employee engagement, and then is spiritual goals. And the third one is be mindful. Buddhists believe that one should keep your head and heart calm, balanced, and objective. Buddhists believe that one should keep your head, your heart calm, balanced, and objective. Do not let pride overtake you. One should not worry about positive or negative feedback. We are talking about being mindful. That was number 3. The 4th principle is cause and effect. Cause and effect. Buddhists believe that every happening is caused by some previous activity. As the business leader sets goals, he or she must determine what will be the cause that lead to the realization of that goal. The process is sort of like reverse engineering. We start to trace back the logical sequence of actions that will lead to a defined goal. This process then helps to define the needed steps to achieve the goal and forms a good basis for a roadmap for the project. Talking about cause and effect. Every Buddhist believes that every happening is caused by some previous activity. And they use a lot of what we call reverse engineering. And reverse engineering, you have a product or you have an object that has been produced, and you take the steps backwards to see how it was actually generated. And a lot of companies, they say, oh, I want to make this particular product, and these are the steps I need to move. Reverse engineering is that you have the product and you're going to move backwards to see what contributed to that. So that's the cause and effect. Okay, step number, we're going to look at number 5, I believe it is. One step at a time. One step at a time. As the firm moves towards meeting its economic and spiritual goals, it does not need to rush to the end. Take it one step at a time, using appropriate Buddhist principles. Keeping in mind, as the Buddha has said, a jug fills up one drop at a time. So it's drop by drop. This classic saying from the Buddha means that things happen step by step. And so, as the firm moves towards meeting its economic and spiritual goal, it does not need to rush to the end. One step at a time. Oh, I love these. I know you like it too. Now we're going to look at step 6. Solve a customer's problem. Businesses will be successful if they discover customers' problems and help those customers resolve their problems. So, understanding a problem our potential customers may be facing and have an empathetic attitude towards it is crucial. So, the first thing that you must do is recognize that and desire to solve a potential customer's problem. A customer's problem causes the customer to suffer, and businesses that help customers solve problems are viewed as compassionate. Compassion is the wish for others to be rid of their suffering. Compassion is the wish for others to be rid of their suffering. So solving a customer's problem, this is a big thing for the businesses that they want to solve a problem that a customer might have. So this is the Buddhist principle that they want to solve a customer's problem. That's number 6. So number 1 was employee engagement. Then from employee engagement, we moved to spiritual goals. From spiritual goals, we moved from be mindful. Then from being mindful, we move to cause and effect. Remember the re-engineering? And then one step at a time, keeping in mind that a jug or a gallon of juice is filled one drop at a time. And now, number 6 is solve a customer's problem. Okay, our 7th principle is called embrace change. Reality involves change, friends. Everything around us, including ourselves, is changing. The government, the environment, university, the people, our jobs, our families, even us. Everything is changing. We should not become so fixated on a particular concept or physical object that we expect it to remain changeless over time. Everything changes. Everything. We must embrace change and be prepared to act in the context of the changed environment. And I'm telling you, that's what we're experiencing right now with the COVID-19. We are experiencing a changed environment. And so from the Buddhist perspective, they're saying that you should embrace that. See what this new change is going to bring, how it's going to affect you and the environment. What new things will you learn how to do? Embrace change. Well, while embracing change, we should not get wrapped up in mourning for the past or yearning for the future. Buddhist declares that do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future. Concentrate the mind on the present moment. Okay? Said, do not dwell in the past. Oh, you know how it used to be. Do not dwell there. Do not dream of the future. Oh, I see a time when we're going to do this and do that. But instead, it says to concentrate the mind on the present moment. Embrace change. This is a challenge even for us right now in the midst of this pandemic, to embrace the change. We want to go back to the familiar because the familiar was comfortable and we knew how to manage it. Okay, number 8 is do good to all. We must help guide our fellow humans from around the globe to move in the right direction of alleviating suffering and providing a good life for all. Not only must we think good thoughts about helpful activities, we must also each one of us act on those good thoughts. So, good wishes are not sufficient. We must become actively engaged. It is not enough to say, "Oh, I'm so sorry that they're struggling." What are you going to do to help them to get over their struggle? Your work is to discover your world and then, with your heart, give yourself to it. Your work is to discover your world and then, with your heart, give yourself to it. Do good to others. Okay. Number 9, our last principle we're going to be discussing is sufficiency is acceptable and reasonable. The Buddhists believe that each individual has a responsibility to one another, to our society, to nature, and must consider the needs of these in conjunction with our own lifestyle. Thus, profit maximization should not be the goal of our business. Let me say that again. Thus, profit maximization should not be the goal of our business. Rather, we must have profits that would help us meet our basic necessities of life. That is true. And to alleviate the sufferings of our customers. We must all strive to follow the Eightfold Path. And we discussed that in another previous PowerPoint presentation. That has to do with right understanding and right viewpoint, right intentions or attitudes, right speech, right actions, right livelihood or work, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration or meditation. And those are in another slide, so you can focus on those later, but I just want to bring that to your attention. So today, my dear students, we covered 5 principles in terms of, from a business perspective, if you're a Buddhist, and if you intend to do business with a Buddhist, that you should consider. They are employee engagement, spiritual goals, being mindful, cause and effect, one step at a time, solve a customer's problem, embrace change, do good to all, and sufficiency is acceptable and reasonable. Sufficiency is acceptable and reasonable. That you don't have to have the maximum profit. You don't have to heap all of the wealth on you. What is it if you are a billionaire and there are many people starving, many people who are homeless, when you could take half of that $1 billion and make a difference in someone else's life? So this is what they're saying. Sufficiency is acceptable and reasonable. You do want your business to be a business that generates some revenue and some profit. And sufficient, as long as it's sufficient to care for its employees and the stakeholders, then it's reasonable. So you be blessed. Think about these principles. That this is not the end of the list. This is just some of the key ones that we wanted to share with you. And so we're going to be in the future, near future, testing you on these principles. These are 9 principles. And then I think earlier on the video 4, we had 5 or 4 principles. And so this is just an exciting time. Keep in mind that the Buddhists love numbers. Numerology, they love numbers. So everything's in groups of numbers. So you be blessed. If you have any questions, don't forget to text me either email me. May God bless you.